All right, thank you, Bill. Tonight, we're asking, how do prosecutors determine if a murderer should die? It comes as South Carolina's Attorney General is pressuring the Richland County Solicitor to pursue capital punishment for a murder earlier this year.
And the solicitor in Horry County is now seeking the death penalty for a convicted murderer whose federal death sentence President Joe Biden had commuted. State House reporter Mary Green spoke with current and former solicitors about these tough decisions.
In the last 11 years, only 4 men have been sentenced to death here in South Carolina, and no one since 2019. A current and a former solicitor, who have both prosecuted death penalty cases, say pursuing capital punishment is not a decision made lightly or quickly.
It's not something you want to rush.
It is a much more intense process.
Low Country Solicitor Duffy Stone led the prosecution in the 2003 trial of Tyree Roberts, who was convicted of shooting and killing 2 Beaufort County deputies. He's now on death row.
He laid in wait for them. He killed them with a Chinese assault rifle, basically ambushing both of them. That neither one of them had a chance.
State Representative Tommy Pope was a solicitor during Susan Smith's murder trial in 1995. While a jury convicted Smith of killing her 2 young children, they sentenced her to life in prison, where she remains.
I didn't think she should be treated different because she reminds me of my daughter or my wife or my co-worker.
Because those cases involve the murders of law enforcement officers and young children, they were eligible for the death penalty. In South Carolina, prosecutors seeking capital punishment for murder must also prove one of these factors laid out in state law, called aggravating circumstances. Then they have to hold additional court proceedings after a guilty verdict for the jury to decide if the person convicted will be sentenced to die. That could mean the difference between a days-long trial and one that takes weeks or longer.
You have to do justice within the confines of our system, not simply do either what the victims are saying or what the public hue and cry is.
As to why death penalty convictions are rarer today than just a few decades ago, Stone and Pope note a few potential factors, including the state's inability to carry out executions for several years because of a lethal injection drug shortage, and a change in state law that bars convicted murderers from early release.
For the victim's sake, I think life without parole has a lot of closure.
Stone also points to the advancement of technology and available evidence.
I now am trying cases in which the evidence that I used didn't exist 20 years ago. And it's something that you cannot decide on until you know everything there is to know about the case. And sometimes that takes months, and sometimes it takes even longer than, a year or 2.